Okay, so Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Full Metal Alchemist, Devil's a Part-Timer, Solo Leveling, Fairy Tail, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, Yu Yu Hakusho, Attack on Titan. So many more animes. What do they all have in common? No, it's not that they're anime. Yes, they're anime. But that's not what I'm getting at that they all have in common. But before I give you the answer, heroes, demon lords, what's up? It's Zill, back in my realm. Let's talk anime. So, what do all those animes have in common and so many other ones have in common? One voice actor. I mean, they probably have some other voice actors that overlap, but this one voice actor in particular. This voice actor happens to be my absolute favorite voice actor. I'm going to MegaCon in February, which is actually in like a week and a half, 2 weeks, somewhere in that area. And I'm going to get his autograph. I'm excited. I'm like through the freaking moon. So I decided I'm going to do this video on my top 5 anime and characters that Chris Sabat voice acts. Some of these you may not have known. Did y'all know he was in Fairy Tail? Did y'all know he was in Devil's a Part-Timer? So it's some of these, it's like you hear a voice and you recognize it, but sometimes you don't really dig into it. I'm crazy like that. I do. Like, I'm hearing a voice, I'm like, that sounds, and I dig into it. So I'm obsessed maybe a little, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for my top 5 favorite characters that Chris Sabat voice acts. So we'll get this started with number 5. My number 5 is from Overlord, and that's, let me pronounce this properly, because I don't want to mess this up. It's Jugen. Jugen is like he's a little goblin, but he is like very loyal to the main character. He's like helping this one village out that the main character puts him in charge of. He's very like gun-ho, tough guy, or goblin, I guess. And just listen to him talk, the way he interacts with the people in the village, and the girl that's actually in charge of the village now is just hysterical. He's really invested in this village, and he's just really, his character comes to life when you hear how Chris Sabat portrays him, how he uses his voice acting talent to just bring this character into the real world for you, right? So that's number 5. Number 4, this one might make a few people a little mad that he's only number 4 for me. While he's one of my favorite Chris Sabat voice characters, he is not my favorite character in this anime. And that is Zoro from One Piece. My favorite character in One Piece is actually Sanji, because he's a chef. I went to culinary art school. I love to cook. It's like, so I like Sanji. Sanji is my favorite, but I do like Zoro. And Zoro is my number 4 favorite character that Chris Sabat voice acts, because it's hilarious. Like, I always love the character that he does, because they're either like really like scruffy and rough kind of character, or really like I guess they're rough, but they're very like pristine, kind of like well kept people. They're very proper. Like, I mean, Vegeta's kind of rough, but he's a very proper guy. And then you got Zoro type characters they're just kind of goofy, right? Zoro's like really tough, and he can handle business, but he's not the brightest bulb in the box. And that's what I love about Zoro. He's just, what can you say? He's Zoro, right? He's gonna get lost. He's probably no longer in One Piece. He moved somewhere. But Zoro is my number 4. And then number 3 is actually from another one of my favorite animes. And honestly, this one, I actually have a tattoo of this anime, and that's Fairy Tail. And Christopher Sabat voices Elfman in Fairy Tail. He's got the ability to to beast take over, so he can like turn part of his body into like a beast from another realm, or he can like turn his whole body. It's really cool ability. But Elfman is kind of like really a manly man. I'm a macho man, but he's also very sensitive. So it's very funny to watch him like have those two personalities at once. So it's like you're watching him try to be like really macho, but then he's also like really sensitive at the same time, and it's hilarious. And the way Chris Sabat brings this character to life and uses the voice to go between being the macho man to being sensitive is just a joy to watch, and it makes the character feel real, and it makes the character more interesting. Like, there's other actors that probably could have played this character, but I don't think there's another voice actor that could make it as iconic as Elfman is with Chris Sabat's voice. Number two. Number two is another one of those voices where it's like he makes him really scruffy, really deep voice, but he's not the brightest bulb in the box again. And that is Yami from Black Clover. Yami is one of my favorite characters, like, in general, just because of his whole attitude. Like, his whole, like, nothing can stop me. Put something in my way, I'll figure out a way to break through it. You know, if I feel like I've reached my limit, I'm going to push through it. But I think the funniest thing about Yami and having Chris Sabat do the voice is, like, what is it? Probably like 60% of the time he's on the toilet, and it's like, or he's getting someone to take him to the toilet. So it's just like the whole process of Chris Sabat having to do the voice of if Yami is like trying to strain to use the bathroom and push through my limits and all this stuff is just hilarious, and it's hysterical. And it just seems like the characters that Chris Sabat does all seem to fit, like, from what I see online of him and everything, they all seem to fit his personality, right? He seems like he's a carefree, fun-loving kind of guy. And, you know, these characters so far, they seem to fit that to a point. I mean, some of them have, like, more of a sternness in certain areas, but they all seem to fit this, like, happy people kind of deal. And then my number one favorite character, not just that Chris Sabat voices, but of all time, in general, of anime, there's no character that I like more than this one. This is the only reason that I really got into anime was because of this character, and it's kept me going, like, into anime, and that's what got me started and kept me into it, and now I am, like, maybe a little obsessed, just a little bit, like, a lot. And that's Vegeta. Chris Sabat took over doing the voice of Vegeta, around when we meet Ginyu, somewhere in that time. So, like, end of the 90s, somewhere in there, during Dragon Ball Z, like, during the Namekian part. And you can hear the transition and how it changes over time, as well as how Vegeta's look changes, right? When you first see him, Vegeta looks a certain way, and then over the series, Vegeta starts to transform himself, right? He no longer carries himself a certain way. He, like, starts to change, and you can hear it in the voice as well. And I know, you know, Chris Sabat takes over. He's not the original English voice actor, but the transition he did, where he was kind of using the same voice, but then he started, like, changing it slowly, really showed not only, like, his skill as a voice actor, but also it helped you feel the growth of Vegeta throughout the anime. And that really made me I'd say that's the character that I first heard him voice act that made me be like, man, this guy is, like, he's voice acting God. So if there is a voice actor that I think deserves the crown of voice acting, English dubbed voice acting, I know the original voice actors are amazing. I like listening to them too. But when it comes to the English dubs, if there's someone that deserves to wear the crown, I'm going to give it to Chris Sabat. He is my all-time favorite voice actor. I don't think there'll be anyone that I am more at all with. Like, just in Dragon Ball, all the voices he does in Dragon Ball Z is just phenomenal. And what can I say? The dude's got talent. So I'm excited to go to MegaCon and see him. If you're going to be in MegaCon in Orlando in February, I'll be there on the Saturday that it's happening. So if you're going to be there in 2025 MegaCon Orlando, hey, maybe we'll see each other. If you see me, say hi. I'll say hi. It'd be a fun time. I'm going to go. I'm going to get an autograph. I'm going to, record some of it, take some photos, and I'm going to put it up here for everybody to see. I'm super excited. And yeah, so let's keep going. Let's see how far we can take this whole, anime channel. And while you're here, click on one of the other videos, and I'll see you next time. But hey, while we're doing that, stay epic and enjoy the journey.